over to you to start the meeting, sir.
Thank you, Mark, and welcome everybody, wherever you are in the world. It's great to have such a good audience. I can see we're at least 80 now, so that's excellent. Now, most of you will know what a fantastic resource we have in London, in the library, in the museum, and what a very professional lady we have in charge of it all in Nicola. So when I was putting the program together for the Zoom for this year, I thought it would be sensible to actually underline that and try to explain to those who wanted to know a bit more about how best to use our online resources. So here we are, and we're going to learn, I'm sure, quite a lot. So Nicola, over to you.
Thanks, Mike. Right then, good afternoon, everybody. As Mike said, today we're going to have a look at the website. And what we'll cover, navigating around the website, how to use the online catalogue, and some of the other digital resources that we have available. For those of you who are unfamiliar, here's the home page. Obviously, you don't have to be a member to access the resources, although some are available for members only. So if you are a member or you're going to become a member, then it's to get the most out of the website, log in at the top there. If you don't know what your login is, or if you've never registered to use the website, then you go to the new users, register here. You'll need your membership number, and I believe sometimes it does take overnight to update. The other useful icon at the top here is the help, and at any point, if you need help, it's there at the top of the screen, and it will take you to this help page. And if you want to, if you've got a bit lost anywhere on the website, you can go to site search. You'll get a search bar. Here I've imagined I'm looking for some information on standing displays. So if you type that into the search bar, and then it will come up with the web pages where they appear. So that, and it takes you to the standing displays page. And as you see, top of every page, there it is. So if at any point you get lost on the website, that's always a handy thing to know to get back to where you want to be. So back to the home page, and we'll start with looking at the catalogue. So that's the big C icon. It's also, again, one of the quick links at the top of each page as well. So if at any point you need the catalogue, just click on that C. A lot of people don't realise that this is actually will search all the catalogues for all members of the Global Philatelic Library, which I think a few people from the various libraries are here today. So as you can see, there's a list there of the contributors, and also it doesn't only pick up books and journals, but also these different types of resources. So if you are looking for material from the Royal, then the first thing to do is select the Royal Philatelic Society London at the top there. As those of you who know me will know, I have a thematic collection on dogs. So today's example is going to be about searching for material in the library about dogs, and mostly because it's something that gets enough hits to be a good enough example, but not too many that will be overwhelmed. So I've just typed in dog there. I've used an asterisk so it picks up dogs and dog. I did also realise it picks up dogmatic as well, and which is used quite a lot in the London Philatelist. So type that term in there, and as you can see, we get 229 results. So next, if you go to the little box at the bottom there, context, so you can start looking to see if any of these resources are going to be of any use to you. So click on context, and you see this has been pulled up because there's a reference to the Dog and Duck Road in Surrey. So it's not likely to be of any use for what I'm looking for. So if we go down to the list here, see the second one, looks like it could be useful, a thematic stamp catalogue. Click on item for more information, and here you get the main record back, and there's a lot of information on there. As you can see, the library, source reference, a lot of things that you might not need to know as a researcher, but the main thing is down the bottom here. You'll see accessions, you'll see our accession number, our location, the loan type. So this is reference only, so you can't take it out, but you can come and refer to it here or ask us to look something up for you. And status is that it's available, so it's not out for repair or anything, so it is available in the library. The other useful information I'd say is if you are looking at home because you're coming in to look for something, or if you're looking on the catalogue here in the library, and you want to go and find the item yourself on the shelf, obviously we are always here to help, but if you do fancy looking for it yourself, then the physical description, so you'll know what it is you're looking for. So if we go back to our list to see some other resources, and you see the next one here is another book, so we'll go and look at the item. And you'll see here that that is standard loan. So for those of you who are members or would like to become members, you can borrow these books for 4 weeks at a time, up to 3 books any one period. And if you're not able to come to London to pick it up or return it, then we will post out to any UK address. So all you need is to ring us up with that reference number, and if it's available, then we can send it out for you. So back to our list, we'll see some of the other resources available. And see here, Philatelic Collection Exhibit, Delarue Collection, China. So I'll have a look at that by clicking on parts. And you'll see here that under associated documents, it says flipbook and view. Which that shows us that we can actually view the flipbook. So click on that and you'd see the Delarue collection, which has all been digitised, and there you can see why it's picked up in that particular search. Other resources, we go a bit further down the list. You see here meeting display. Again, we can look at context and item document. And here under associated documents, it says handout meeting, and that we can view it. And if you look a bit further along the line there, it says there are 18 pages. So if we click on view, and then you see there it comes up with the download, and then we can download that handout from that particular meeting. But the handouts available for meetings are very much dependent on what permissions we've been given. Not all speakers will give permission for us to put the full handout online to the public. Some will only give permission for members only to view, or some only give us permission to hold a hard copy here. When I was preparing for this talk, somebody did ask, could you put 2 terms in at one time? So I've just done a quick example there that, yeah, if you put dog and sled, you'll get only 1 hit, and you'll see the context there. And it's from the Essex Society's combined displays, then you can decide if that's something worth pursuing. The other useful thing when doing a search is within these 229 items, you can use this box here to refine your search. So just zooming in a bit there, I put in Ireland and then I narrowed it down to 2 hits, and then you can see that there's an article from the London Philatelist and also a meeting display that comes back with dog licence stamps. So if we go back to the catalogue main page, and as I said before, this acts as a search facility for all the libraries that are part of the Global Philatelic Library. So if we do a search on the term here, within all the libraries, there are 700 results found. So we can see what other people have available. And see here it says grouping GPL journal index. Steve Jarvis, who I think is probably on the call here somewhere, he uploads journal indexes to the Global Philatelic Library, and this will pick up search terms within those indexes. So as you can see here, this is an article that was in the American Philatelist from May 1990, gives you volume number, gives you page numbers. So then your next action then would be to find out who has a run of the American Philatelist. If you go back to catalogue search, select journal at the top there, all libraries, American Philatelist, search, and then there are 342 results showing who has copies of the American Philatelist. Looking down the list, you can see that we do, and if you go along the line, you'll see that our bound holdings there take us from 1887 to 2020. To have more detail, click on grouping, and then you'll see, again, similar to the books, you'll see the full catalogue record there, our bound holdings, but also you can see our more recent acquisitions and the ones that we're expecting. So at the time I did this screenshot, see that our October's had come in, but our November issue was still due in. So you can also see that it's an active journal that we regularly receive still. Sometimes also there'll be notes there that give you alternative titles to give you a bit of a hand if you're not sure. So back to the catalogue search, you can also see that you can select auction catalogues and private treaty. And a search there comes back with 2 hits. So the first one was GPL, and if you click on for more information there, it says GPL Virtual Library, and under associated documents, again, you'll see catalogue and view, and over across here, pages 177, and then it's 4 megabytes of data. So this shows that we can actually download it if we want to have a look. So have a look, and there's the catalogue. You can go through the pages, and there's the lot that it refers to. Again, that's dependent on what we've had permission from particular auction houses to do. We're trying to get as much as we can out there, but it's permissions, and also whether or not something's digitized, or whether we have the resources here to digitize it. So if we go back to those search results, and you'll see that the second one isn't RPSL, it's our RMPL, which is Rocky Mountain Philatelic Library. So if we click on that for more information, you'll see yes, they have a copy over in Denver. There isn't a view to view the actual catalogue, but there is a link to the APRL's union catalogue, which can give there's more detail about how to get hold of a copy. So although a particular library might not be in your country, I mean, I know we certainly take requests if you see something and you're not a member, or indeed are a member, and you just need a scan, then if you get in touch with us and if it's within copyright limits, then we can provide a scan for you. Another useful tip when searching the catalogue is you'll see this advanced search. There is a little guide there for using it for the London Philatelist, which is particularly useful for narrowing down, but you can use it for any of the records. So I've put in here dogs, I've put in the Allfields London Philatelist archive. Here I've got 36 results. And again, if you click on context, you can get an idea as to what's been picked up in the text to result in the hits there at the top. So have a look at this one. Members can view all back issues of the London Philatelist, but non-members can't view the most recent 10 years. So you'll see here view, or you can click there to view, see the size of the file, and there you can view the article. The other thing to look out for are the quick links. So if you're on the catalogue page, you'll see the quick links queue there, and there are some tiles at the bottom that can also take you to them. Perkins Bacon Archives. We are aiming to get as much of the Perkins Bacon archive digitised and available to not just members, to the wider public as well. But it's a long project, not only the digitising, but also the either transcribing or picking out of keywords. So some we've put online ready. I say we, Steve Jarvis. So once they've been digitised here, Steve's putting them up so you can view them. As you see at the moment, because they're just digitised in their original form, you would have to look through to see if you could find anything of relevance to your research. The engraving books, we have started a project picking out keywords. The Art Society have been helping us. That started during lockdown, where the volunteers go through the scans, pick out keywords of organisations and research terms that people are likely to look for. Then we've got checkers at the Royal here who look for philatelic terms and check through that. But it's a time-consuming project. But as you can see at the ones we've done, that there you can type in a specific word, and again I've gone for dog here. You see dog labels, view item, and then just down at the bottom again you can see the flip book and view it, and it has the transcribed keywords on one side, and then you can see the actual image. So our ultimate aim is to work through all of the Perkins Bacon and get that all out there, because it's an underused resource that, although philatelists have gone through it, there's still a lot more to find. So we're working on that, and if anybody wants to volunteer to be either identify the keywords or to do some of the checking, then, or even some of the scanning, and we're always looking for more helpers. So back to the quick links. I mentioned journal indexes before. You can, if you just want to browse through, which is what a lot of these quick links are very good for. So go to journal indexes, when I took this, there were 157 different journal indexes that Steve had put up. And you can see the entries there, so you can go through, you can have a browse, and then, as I said before, check on the catalogue to see who's got a particular journal. If we've got it, then you can either come and have a look or send a request and arrange for a scan of a particular article. One of the more recent resources that we've acquired was from the Ted Proud International Postal Museum charity. So we're working through putting this online at the moment. See that in the quick links. Again, there's the search bar, view document, view item. You click through, and what we're able to put online, we have done. And again, Steve's a very busy person. It's mostly Steve who's been working to make that available. Other quick links. As I showed you on the catalog, you can search for these through the catalogues. But if you do want to browse, you can have a look at standing displays. Again, there are links to view them if we've got permission to put them online. You can click to look at the meetings, and you can see video or handout. Again, if we've got the person's permission to make the handout available, to make the video available, then there's the links there to view them. Another way to view the London Philatelist, if you want to have a browse, or you might have been given a reference, so you don't need to search on the catalogue. You can just come to the quick link, have a look for the particular issue you want, click on that, and then you can see the articles that appear. And again, same as before, you can get the article up online. If you remember, that's all right up until the most recent. And British Post Office notices is another ongoing project. We've been doing the scanning here, and then Maurice Buxton with the GBPS has been cropping and putting them into more viewable format. So we're making these available at the moment. Volume 1 is ready on the website, and the other volumes are in progress. So they're there to have a look through from home. So there's back to the home page here, and if you go to publications, which might seem a bit of an unusual place to go, but you will get obviously information about our publications that are available. Also down the bottom here, there's a link to guides, and on this page there are some really useful resources about how to start off your research. There's a basic guide by David Beach, how to look after your collection by David, and a guide to monographs, grey literature and selected texts, also by David. There's a style guide for if you're thinking of writing for publication, but it's also useful that if you're not sure yet, it'll give you an idea of what you need to do with referencing, and also what you need to know about copyright. So when you are going through the catalogue, it might be useful to have a look through that, so there's an understanding as to what is available for us to copy and what you can then do with those copies. So there's a reminder of the URL, and if you've got any questions, then I'll give you my email address in a minute. while I'm here, I did just want to give everyone a quick reminder that the nominations for the Crawford Medal deadlines are 31st of January, and that's for any book published in 2021 or 2022. And all you have to do is just email me before then. But also a copy has to be provided to the library if you haven't already got one. So there's my details. And YouTube again is another good resource for looking at our previous meetings and events. So there's a lot of worthwhile material there. And that's it, Mike.
Thank you, Nicola. Now, has anyone raised any questions? Let's see. And indeed, if anyone has any questions, do put them in the chat. A technical question for you from Peter Mora. Peter asks, is the backbone of the library connected to worldcat.org?
No.
Okay, thank you. John asks, do we have a list of the currently published philatelic journals?
I can make a list. I can run a report to make a list. In fact, not long ago I did, because we're looking for where we need to leave space downstairs for new issues coming in. So for our space planning. So but that would only be for the ones we receive.
That would be very useful. It's John here.
Okay.
I'm in on Thursday. I'll pop in maybe.
Okay, yeah, I can make you one up there. That's fine.
Thank you very much indeed.
Ingo Nessel asks, for the Perkins-Bacon volunteering,
Yeah.
does the person doing the volunteering have to physically be in London?
No, and that's one of the really good things about it, for getting everybody involved, and that's why it started during lockdown, because we can send the scans out electronically, and then, you know, and if people have a specific period they'd like to do, then it works really well. So no, you certainly, it's one of the projects that you really don't have to be in London for.
Yeah. So perhaps, Ingo, you'd like to volunteer to remind.
Yeah, get in touch, Ingo.
To remind you, Ingo's in Canada.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Chris Hitchin asks, Nicola, can one search by author? Well, I know the answer is yes, but I'm sure you'd like to expand on that, wouldn't you?
Yes, I mean, you can search by author, and you can, in the advanced search, you can select author and then put the term in there to specifically narrow down that way.
Yes, it's one.
Or you could put in just the author's name in the first search, and then to refine the search, then you could maybe put a word from the title. There's a few ways to do it, but certainly, yeah, you can use the author's name.
Can I just chip in on that? On the search screen, you've got an option, an advanced search, for which fields you want to search on. For author, it's actually, you select involved parties.
Involved parties, yeah, quite right, Steve. Yeah,
it's
without seeing it in front of me, yeah.
It was a term that Frank Morton always used. So blame him if you don't understand
Frank, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Steve's right. It does say involved parties, because it means it picks up author or editor. You know, the different ways you can be involved in the production.
Or even publisher, of course. Yeah. Right. Charles Oppenheim asks you a question, Nick. He says, Nicola, if I order a book from the library, do you charge for the postage from or to the Royal?
We do, and it is sent special delivery.
Okay. And John Copeland says, could you mention the external digital resources with links to various primary sources?
Yes, we do have a page of links, and John has been doing some work on doing links to directories and other resources, and we're well, I should start by saying that we're going to be doing changes to the website. Well, we've been working through them for a while, and I think they start in earnest in January, don't they, Mark?
Yeah,
So
late January or early February, but yes.
So
yeah,
the plan is to have a more prominent page for certainly some of the work that John's been doing, because there's some really good, useful links there to some interesting resources.
Right. On the subject of things that can be accessed via the website, Chris Simmons asks you, can we access via RPSL any of the documents that are held at the Postal Museum?
No, but that's because they haven't put anything available, not to my knowledge. Yeah, no, you would have to go. You would have to go to them.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Disappointing, but
Now, Abhishek Buwalkar, who's over there in India, he obviously has a favourite book in mind, because he says, as a Christmas gift, I do hope that Michael Raguin's Post Office Notices Volume 2 will be digitised soon.
Well,
One has been online for some time now.
it has been digitised. That bit's already been done. I think it's just the tidying up, so it's so it looks smart to go online. So I can't promise it will be a Christmas gift, but hopefully an early New Year one.
Right, because Abhishek makes the point, of course, that they are essential for anyone interested in classic British postal history.
Yeah, and that's why. So they have all been digitised here, but as with a lot of these things, it's reliant on people giving up their time to work on them, and you know, the person who's making them pretty and suitable for viewing online, you know, he does have a job and other projects to do. So I wouldn't like to make a promise on his behalf that it'd be ready for Christmas, but I know he's working on them.
Okay, thank you. You'll smile at this next question. I'm sure Peter's raised this slightly tongue-in-cheek. Thank you, Mr. Coburn. Peter's question to you is, can you search by breed of dog?
No, we're working on that. That's top priority, Peter.
No, thanks everybody for your questions. That to me, that final one for the president seems to be the last question. So, Mr. King, would you like to say anything?
That's what's on the agenda, Mark.
Over to you then.
Thanks ever so much, and thanks to Mark and to Mike and everybody who makes these things happen. And thanks very much to Nicola, who's trying to elucidate something which is quite hard to get a handle on. When this catalogue started, it was meant to be a one-stop shop. And of course, now the shop has an enormous amount of things in, some of which are hard to find, and they're behind other things on the shelves. But it is improving, and there is a programme of continuing to improve this catalogue as and when we're able. I think it's important that Nicola mentioned the volunteers, and including volunteers who are not members. There's so much work goes on behind the scenes for keeping the catalogue alive. And I have to thank Steve Jarvis for a great deal of that, but he's not the only one. There are a lot of people involved in making sure things continue. And it was important that Nick raised the volunteers there. I hope that what you've seen shows you that you can get to other library catalogues here. You can see original documents here, or other scans of original documents here, including the Perkins-Bacon. And the post office notices. That was my Ragwin, incidentally, which they tore up in order to scan. And I'm still waiting for my banned copies to come back. But Ragwin is an important resource. And again, that's another work in progress, as is much of this whole program. I hope that Nick's made it clear that there's much more here than perhaps meets the eye. And I'm very grateful. It's been quite a difficult presentation to make, and it probably bears going back to when we put the recording up, because we've, in making a one-stop shop, we really have made a rod for our own backs in some ways. But I hope it's clearer that what there is to be found there, and there is an enormous amount of resource which you won't find elsewhere. On the question of other organisations like the Postal Museum, I'm sure we could cooperate with the Postal Museum, but it takes two to tango. And we've got the music if they can bring their material to the show. So, but Nick, that was really super, and I hope helpful to everybody. So thanks ever so much.
Thanks, Chris.
Our staff and our volunteers are what makes this happen. And I think that they're sometimes a bit unsung. So I hope what Nick's done is to show you some of the things that are going on in the background that are works in progress, and that we'll continue to try to bring resources to our membership, but also resources to the much wider world of philately and the wider world of just knowledge and interest, which is part of our responsibility as a charity. So thanks ever so much, Nick. I'm very grateful.
Thank you. I think, can I just say one more thing? That I imagined that this presentation would probably raise more questions for people than answers. So please get in touch, or, you know, when you're down in London, come and have a word with me, but or email in, or have a phone if you go away and think, oh, actually, I wonder if we can do that, or if that's there, because I couldn't go through everything. So please get in touch.
Peter, would you like to say something?
Certainly I would. I first of all reiterate what Chris King has just said to Nicola, because I know that she's a librarian, first and foremost, although she looks after all our collections. And librarians are not necessarily people who stand on the corner of Hyde Park shouting out information. They have it in books and they read them. So Nick, you've done terrifically well this afternoon, and thank you very much indeed. I do wish we could have seen a picture of the dog, but never mind, we'll keep searching. And I can only reiterate, first of all, that I do know a lot of work goes into these presentations. It's not at all easy to make a presentation on a website, which is, you know, coming up as the screen size that most of us have. And to try and elucidate that is extremely difficult, but I think you've done very well indeed. But I also recommend that members will play with it, get in there, have a look around, and if there's things you don't understand or you can't fathom, then I know that Nick and her assistants and volunteers will be able to help you. So it comes to the stage when I want to deliver a certificate. Here it is. And Mark, if you just share your screen and put it on for Nick to see. It's come out white, but that's because my scanner obviously needs some adjustment. It's actually sort of yellow, but it records an excellent afternoon, and one which has been enjoyed, and we've all been educated one way and another. So thank you very much indeed, Nick.
Thanks, Peter.
Just to say then that there is a volunteers lunch actually on Thursday. If anybody online is a volunteer and they haven't been invited or they haven't heard about it, you can still come. It's at Abchurch Lane, obviously. It's at 12 o'clock noon, and there'll be something to drink and something to eat, and you can say hello to Nicola. but also you can stay on for the show, which is from the council members this year. I'm so glad that we've managed to get it in. Next week, I have no idea what's going to happen. Those of you who are looking at the British television from overseas must think we're entirely digging our own grave in this country. But the Royal will continue, regardless of strikes and setbacks and taxation and all sorts of other misdemeanors. But we will be there, and we shall continue. Whether we can have full blast meetings between now and Christmas is open to doubt. But certainly on the 7th tomorrow, we have the rededication of the War Memorial. Again, anybody who hasn't registered for that, still time to do so. Don't worry, come along. That's at 12 o'clock with the Bishop of London. And again on Thursday, we shall be 42 frames of wonderful material from the council. So do please give that some thought if you can. Thank you, Nicola, once again, and good afternoon.
Thank you, Peter. Chris, I think we shall call this the end of the formal part of the meeting.
Yep.
In which case I'm going to stop recording.